Working. All right, wait a minute. I know I'm live, but I don't see any video. I didn't see any video. Um, Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm having some technical difficulties going Facebook Live, but let's hope. I see you. I see you. Let's hope, right? That we can get this thing squared away. Thank you guys, my TGM television crew, for tuning in. I don't know what in the world is going on with my screen on Facebook Live, but I am having some technical difficulties. But that's all right. I'm just gonna go live with you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is I am Minister Marcus, and this is Maximize Your Life. Come on, give me a hand clap. Give me a good one, a good one, a good one, a good one, a good one. All right, it's good. I know it's Friday night, right? And we normally go on Wednesday nights, but this week we had a storm here in Houston, and so we just pushed it back to Friday night. Some of the people had inboxed me, and I let them know. Some of the people didn't know. I tried to get the word out, but it has been a very, very, very hectic week. So once again, thanks you guys for tuning in. I am having technical difficulties on this computer. I cannot see my screen on my Facebook Live, but I'm hopeful that they can hear my voice. But tonight we are going to finish up on the lesson that we started on last week, and it is called Controlling Yourself. Say, I have to control myself. Control myself. Come on, guys, say it one more time. I have to control myself. I have to control myself. All right, and this lesson is for any and everybody that realizes and recognizes, right, that there are some things about you that may not be just perfect. There are some things about you that you may need to work on. There's some things about you that you may just need to improve. And last week's lesson we were in Genesis chapter 34, and tonight we are going to go right back to Genesis chapter 34. I have no idea what is going on with my camera on Facebook Live. So for those of you who are trying to watch on Facebook Live, I do apologize. I'm gonna just go live from our TGM television page. Well, I'll just post it for you guys later. All right. So we going Genesis 34. I really have no idea what the issue is with that. But we're going Genesis 34, and I'm going to read you guys a story. I'm reading from the New American Standard Bible. All right. And I'm going to read a story, and hopefully, you guys can kind of follow along with the story. All right. And I'm going to start from verse number 1. Because I know some of you guys didn't tune in last week, and I want y'all to be caught up to speed. All right. So we're going Genesis 34. I'm going to begin at verse number 1, and I'm going to read through verse number 18. All right. Starting at verse 1, and I'm going to read through verse 18. All right. Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to visit the daughters of the land. In other words, she went to go see some of her friends. Right? When Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, the prince of the land, saw her, he took her and he raped her. He was deeply attracted to Dinah, who was the daughter of Jacob, and he loved her, and he spoke very tenderly to her, very kindly to her. So Shechem spoke to his father, saying, "Get me this girl so I can marry her." Now Jacob, her father, had heard that he had raped his daughter, but his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob didn't say anything until they came in. Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and very angry, because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, for such a thing ought not to be done. Verse 8, but Hamor, his father, Shechem's father, spoke with them, saying, "The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter." Are y'all following? Yeah. "Please give her to him in marriage, and to marry with us. Give your daughters to us and take our daughters for yourselves. Thus you shall live with us, and the land shall be open before you. Live and trade in it and acquire property in it. Shechem now speaks, also saying to her father and to her brothers, if I now find grace and favor in your sight, then I will give whatever you tell me to give you. Ask me ever so much bridal payment and gift, and I will give according as you say to me. But give me Dinah in marriage. But Jacob's sons answered Shechem and his father Hamor with deceit, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. All right, this story to me is starting to get a little bit hot, right? So this man, the prince, he rapes a girl. He rapes the daughter. Then he comes to her father and her brothers asking them, let me marry her. I'm in love with her. Let me marry her. I'll pay whatever you want me to pay. I'll give whatever you want me to give. I'll do whatever it is that you want me to do. Just let me marry this girl, right? And you know what I think is kind of funny? Could you give me that little cord out of that bag? I think it's kind of funny because immediately when I look at this story, and we picking up on verse number 8, we picking up on verse number 8. Immediately when I look at this story, I think it's amazing how so many times my daddy would say like this: an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So many times, instead of us thinking before we do something, we always think after we do something. Yeah. And so I want to start right there, because a lot of times we don't think about what we have done until we see the consequence of what we have done. We don't consider what we have done until we see the consequence of what we have done. And most of the time, and I'm going to say it like this, I'm going to markinize it. Most of the time, when you don't have self-control, right, you end up needing damage control. Oh, have y'all ever experienced that? Yeah. It's like instead of me thinking first, I didn't think. Went with it, and this is what we said last week. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I deal with the consequences later. Have you ever done that? Have y'all ever thought like that? Have y'all ever experienced that? I know I have done so many things in my life. This is not just school, but this is in life. I know I'm not supposed to be doing it. I know I'm not supposed to be here. I know I'm not supposed to go here. I know I'm not supposed to do this. I know I'm not supposed to be with this person. I know I'm not supposed to be doing it, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I'll deal with the consequences later. Yeah. And here's the prince. The prince, he loved this girl. I mean, he looked at this girl, and he thought she was so fine. He decides he's going to go after her, and now he sees the consequence of his actions. Now he's on the other side, which is damage control. And you know what this, if we all be real in here, many of us came to church after we had found ourselves on the other side of some bad decisions in our life. I know I came to God after some things had went wrong and continued to go wrong in my life. Due to when you don't have self-control, you have damage control. Many times we come to church, we come to God on the side of damage control. We don't come to God on the side of self-control. We didn't do everything right. We done said some wrong things. We done done some wrong things. We come to God on the damage control side. God, I done made a mess. I need you to help me clean it up. God, I done tore my life up. I need you to help me to fix it. God, I done made some bad. I'm emotionally disturbed. I need you to help me fix it. We don't come to God on the right. We don't come to God on the control myself. We come to God on self-control. We come to God on the damage control. And so most of the time, I like to say it like this, like God saw the risk and he commands us around the risk. But many times we don't care about the command around the risk. We jump into it. Right. And so most of the time it goes like this. You know, with my kids, I have kids, and with each and every one of them, there has always been a scenario where I say, hey, you need to stop doing that. You might slip, you might fall, you might bust your head. Yeah. And they do what? You know how kids are. You know, they standing up on the couch and they jumping in between your little couches, and you say, hey man, stop all that playing. Now I'm not telling you to stop playing because I want you to not have fun. I'm telling you that because it's a good chance that you might slip and bust to knock yourself upside the head. And so with kids, you know how kids do. And it has happened. It never fails. It never fails. It never fails. I tell them to stop. I don't force them to stop. I say, man, look, stop. You run the risk of bumping your head. So, oh, okay. Then they stop. Then 2 minutes later, they're right back doing the same thing, right? And then what happened? Next 5 minutes, you hear a scream in the living room. And you come in there, and I tell them this. You like me, I say, hey, man, I don't want to hear it because I told you to stop. Now go sit down. I'm not going to console you right there, right? And so most of the time, God sees the risk and he commands us around the risk. But guess what? We are stubborn. And you know what? We end up slipping. We end up tripping. We end up with knots on our heads. We ended up with bruises on our knees, right? Because we doing stuff that we know we weren't supposed to do. And God told you, Marcus, don't do that. Don't sleep with this girl if you ain't married to her, right? Don't come on. How many of us are we gonna be really here tonight? Don't do this, Marcus. You run the risk of bumping your head. Don't do this, you run the risk of getting yourself into some trouble. Don't act like that, you run the risk of putting yourself into a situation. And here's the thing. The thing is that we find ourselves on the other side of damage control. And here's what we got to understand about God. And man, I can't believe I'm taking this long, because I really want us to understand that God will forgive your sin, but forgiveness does not erase consequence. Forgiveness does not erase consequence. I'm going to say it again. Forgiveness does not erase consequence. And no matter what, you can ask for forgiveness and I can forgive you, but the consequences of your actions, you still have to deal with that. And I wish somebody would have told me that when God decides to forgive me, the forgiveness does not stop the consequence. It's just like this. I say, son, don't touch the stove, right? My son touched the stove anyway. And guess what happened? He burned his hand. Now, son, I forgive you for being disobedient, right? But now, at the same time, my forgiveness does not stop the burn on your hand. Oh, y'all walking with me tonight? Oh, we sleep? We sleep. I think everybody sleep. But me forgiving you does not stop the burn on your hand. You still got to deal with that. You still got to be hurt tomorrow because you didn't do what I told you to do today, right? And so the forgiveness does not stop the consequence. But here's what God says. He says, my grace is sufficient. How many of you ready for that? All right, you got yourself in this situation. You're going to have to dig yourself out. But guess what? My grace is sufficient. This is what I say. My grace is sufficient. It's like this. Son, you burned your hand. You got to deal with the burn, but I'm going to put some Neosporin on it to help you to deal with it a little bit better. Y'all walk with me tonight? And here's God. You bumped your head. You skinned your knee. You did what you weren't supposed to do. But now I'm on the other side of damage control. My grace is sufficient. I can't stop the consequence, but I can give you something to kind of ease the pain. I'm thankful. I don't know about y'all, but I am so thankful that God is a forgiving God and he's a loving God. He's just like a parent. When you find yourself in damage control, right, because you didn't do self-control and you on the other side of consequence, that God will forgive you and he'll restore you and he'll say, you know what, I forgive you, I love you, we right back in right fellowship, but you got to go through this right here. You got to deal with this right here. You got to see this right here because I told you not to. All right. And so now we see this boy done raped this girl. This boy done raped this woman. And now he's on the other side of his actions. And he's coming to her brother. He could have went about doing it the right way and enjoyed the right benefits to claim her, but instead and claimed her as his wife. Instead, he went about doing it the complete wrong way. And now he is on the other side of the consequence. How many of you can think back in your life? I know when I was a teenager, I did so many stupid things. And at the end of the day, it was not about what I did, right? But it was about the way I went about doing it. Come on. Sometimes it's not what you do. It's how you go about doing it. It's not what you say. It's how you said it that makes the problem. Here's the thing. The thing is, this is what I tell a lot of teenagers. I say, if you want me to respect you as a young adult, you will have to show me that I can trust you as a young adult. You see what I'm saying? It's not that you went out to have fun with your friends. It's that you lied about it. And here's what God is saying to us. God is saying, a lot of times, it's not what you do, it's how you do it that messes it up. You could have went about doing it the right way and had you a whole husband. Instead, we took it to Thoughtsville. Come on. Instead, you went to Thoughtsville. And now I can't bless you in that way because of the way you went about getting what it is that you want. And sometimes I want us to understand this. I think sometimes that we miss our blessing, not because we don't want the right things, not because we don't have the right kinds of desires in our heart, but I think we miss our blessing because we don't go about getting them the way that God has already said to go about getting it. We think that we're going to get the blessing because we played the scratch outs. When God done already told you, honor me with your substance, give your tithes, and I'll open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. But the thing is, we go about doing it the wrong way and wonder why God haven't blessed it. You playing the scratch out. You rather trust the scratch out, trust the state rather than trust God.
Come on, sir.
You rather gamble on the state than gamble. Come on. I want you to get in here. I want us to understand that God wants to bless us, but sometimes we put ourselves outside of the blessing just by the way we go about doing some things. Here's the thing. What if what you wanted to say was the right thing to say, but you said it in the wrong way? What if the thing that you wanted to do was the right thing to do? God said, I want to bless you with that, but the way that you did it. Come on. This man could have had this girl as his wife had he not allowed, now here's the thing, his lust to take control. Had he not allowed his lust to take control, his desires to take control, what he wanted to control over what he knew was right to do. And I'm sure all of us in here tonight, and those of you that are watching, I'm sure all of us can testify. I knew it was right. I shouldn't have spent that much money on them shoes, but I wanted them so bad. Come on, I shouldn't have ate that late that night, but I wanted it so. I shouldn't have spent that money on that food, but I wanted it so bad. I shouldn't have done this with or that with that girl, that boy, but I wanted it so bad. His lust got him into some serious trouble. He would have used the same. Come on, here's the thing. The thing is that I think we go about doing things the wrong way. And here's the thing: we lie, we cheat. We steal, we go about all of these other, we cut all these corners to get what it is that we know we're not supposed to have. When if you put the same intensity, drive, and effort into doing it the right way, you probably would have had it by now.
That's right.
You know what? I look at so many people playing the scratch off tickets and it annoys me because I be in line, right? You trying to get $3 on pump 12, and then you got to wait in line because this man give me a number 5, give me number 3, give me number 12. Oh yeah, how much is that? Give me number 17, and I want to play these 3 numbers. And the line is there. Come on, brother. I ain't knocking. I'm just saying. If you would put the same kind of intensity into trusting God by tithing, how much? Come on. If you sometimes we go through all of this trouble to cut the corners, to lie, to cheat, to steal, to get what it is that we want. Had you put the intensity and effort into doing it the right way, you would have already achieved what it is that you was trying to achieve. And this young man, he lets his body get out of control. I want to tell y'all tonight, say I got to control myself. Come on, I want to tell y'all tonight that your body can get you in a whole lot of trouble. The stuff that you want may not be right for you right now. The stuff that you desire may not. Come on, I want to eat cookies like every day. I want to eat fried chicken. Come on, look at it. I got an amen in the car. I want to eat fried chicken every single day, but I can't. Why can't you eat it every day, Marcus? You want it. Why not get it? You're an adult. You grown. You can have whatever you want to have. I can, but if I eat it every day, it's going to tear my insides up. Come on, say I got to control myself. The stuff that you want, you have to understand what your desires are not designed to control your actions. What you want is not designed to control your behavior. Say, we got to learn to be purpose driven, not pleasure driven. We got to learn to be purpose driven, not pleasure driven. Because I want you to understand this. Some of the things that you want right now, if you were more focused on that purpose and not the pleasure, you probably would have got the pleasure by chasing the purpose. And here's the text. Jesus says it this way. He says, seek ye first the kingdom, and all of these things shall be added unto you. The problem is we go after these things. And you know what's added to these things? Consequences.
These problems.
I love it. I'm finna steal it. We chase these things, and what's added to these things is what's that? These problems. And we don't understand why our lives are not coming together, why things are not going right in our life. And it's because you chasing the wrong thing. But here's what Jesus said. He said, if you chase righteousness, these things will be added unto you. What things? What things?
Come on.
These extra dollars in your pocket. this extra joy, this extra peace, this extra understanding, this extra blessing, this extra success will be added. These things will be added unto you once you get down what we got to be purpose driven, not pleasure driven.
Amen.
I want us to understand we have to learn to act and move with purpose.
Yeah.
Say, I got to control myself. We got to learn to act and move with purpose. Act and move with purpose. I'm going to give you an example tonight. If I was to tell you that for every 50 pounds you will get to, I will give you $1,000. Let me break that down. If for every 10 pounds you lose, I'm going to give you $1,000. How many of us will be ready to lose some weight tonight?
Amen.
I see your hands. For those of you that are watching, look, somebody raised their toes over here. Every 10 pounds you lose, you got $1,000 deposited into your account. Now, here's the thing. The thing is, everybody going to raise their hand. They don't have nothing to do with the Holy Ghost. They don't have nothing to do with nothing, but it does have everything to do with the purpose for, purpose for losing the 10 pounds and so I can get some money. We got to learn to be purpose driven. We need to move and act with purpose. It has nothing to do with being spiritual, but everything to do with moving and acting with purpose. Here's the question. Why do you do what you do in the morning? Why do you do it? Why do you do what you do? What is the purpose behind doing what you do? The things that you chose for today. What is the purpose for you choosing those things? What you said, what is the purpose behind it? Were you reacting to what somebody else said, or were you proactive because you chasing purpose?
Come on, sir.
I want us to understand it. We cannot be pleasure driven and expect our lives to just fall in place. We have to be purpose driven and take our life. Come on, put your life in your own hands. And this is the problem. The problem is we chase what we want to do all day, every day, and don't understand why things are not coming together. You are never going to save money buying when you want to buy. You are never going to lose weight eating what you want to eat when you want to eat it. We have to be purpose driven. No, I can't do that. Why not? Not because I don't want it, but because the purpose of, come on, I want something greater. We got to move with purpose. We got to move with purpose. Say, I got to move with purpose. Come on, I got to move with purpose. We got to learn to move with purpose. We got to be purpose driven, not pleasure driven. Purpose driven, not pleasure. We have got to become people of purpose. And you know what I found out? So many of our churches, we are not Christians of purpose. We have no purpose for doing the things that we do. The only purpose that we have is to look nice for the people around us, to look cute for the people at church, to look and act saved and spiritual for the people around us. We have no purpose. We only chase what we want. We come to God for him to give us what we want. We come to God so he can, so he can satisfy what we want in the moment. We come to God chasing pleasures. We want the blessing, but we don't understand purpose. And I believe that more people would understand we have to become purpose driven, not pleasure driven. Lust is not designed to lead. I'm going to say that again. Lust is not designed to lead. Lust is not designed to lead. Here's the thing. He saw her and he immediately desired her. Have y'all ever been, I'm gonna talk about me. I'm not gonna say. I know that there are certain people's chicken that I don't eat. It has to be a certain time, right? Because I like fried chicken. Lord God deliver me from it. But if I'm driving down the street and I'm hungry, right? I know Popeyes. I'm not too big on Popeyes. I think their chicken is good, but I'm not too big on Popeyes. But would you give me some Frenchies? You give me some Timmy Chan, and that may sound hood to some of y'all, but I want to be real tonight. If you give me some Frenchies chicken, you give me some Timmy Chan chicken, and I smell it. Come on, and sometimes I smell it and I'm like, man, I just ate some chicken like yesterday. But that chicken smells so good. Come on. And have you ever had that effect where something that you want so bad? I know it's not in my budget, but them shoes. I know it's not in my budget, but that dress. I know it's not in my budget, but I need to go. Come on, I want to go out to eat tonight. I know I shouldn't. Come on. Have you ever wanted something so bad? This boy sees this woman, this young lady, and he lusts after her so bad. Lust is not designed to lead your actions. Lust is not designed to, I'm going to say it again. Lust Lust is not designed to lead your actions. Lust is not designed to lead. The attack of the enemy is to entice you. Entice you by what? By the things that you want. I'm going to say that again. The attack of the enemy is to entice you or to draw you or to pull you with the things that he knows that you want. You don't recognize it. Yeah. Right? You don't recognize how it's going to destroy your life. And remember, we talked about the emotional distress. I mean, the emotional damage of being sexual. We talked about the emotional damage, and we discussed how just because you don't see the damage don't mean that damage is not being done. And I want us to understand that the attack of the enemy is to entice. Yeah. Is to entice. Thank you. Is to entice. All right. Here's what I want us to look at tonight, because this brother, after he has done what he did, he has to beg, he has to bribe, he has to do all this stuff to her father and her brothers just to rectify or to right his wrong action. Right? And that's why I kind of want to highlight, because there are times that we go to the extreme extent to get something the wrong way. Right? And remember, we talked about that earlier. He had to ask, he had to beg, he had to bribe. And here's my question. How far will you go to gratify your lust? When I smell that chicken while I'm driving, how far will you go? Will you how much of my budget will I dig into to give me some chicken a day? Come on. How much, if just because I want this girl, how many lies do I gotta tell? Come on now. To get to this woman? How many corners do I gotta cut to get to? How much? Are y'all walking with me? How far will you go to satisfy that lust? And here's the question: what if the gratification was on the other side of a curse? Would you step on that side just to get the get the gratification that you want? And most of us, we put ourselves, we step into the fire trying to get something that we weren't supposed to have in the first place. How far will you go? I want you to think about that. How far will you go? How far will you go? How far will you go? How much money have you spent on scratch offs? How much money have you spent knowing that you weren't supposed to spend it? How many things have you done knowing you? How far will you go to get that thing that you want? And now here's the flip side to that. The flip side to that question is, I want you to think about the intensity that you do. Now my question is, how far are you willing to go to reach your purpose? How far are you willing to go to reach your blessing, to reach your level of success? How far are you willing to go? And most of us, and we won't, if we be truthful in here, you don't have to admit it to me, but most of us will cut so many corners to get the wrong thing. But if I ask you, how many days this week have you dedicated to your purpose? How many hours this week have you dedicated to your productivity? How much time have you dedicated to stirring up the gifts inside of you? But yet at the same time, we spend all of this time, all of this effort, chasing lust, chasing desire. And my question is the same intensity. If I was to ask you that on the other side, how much time have you invested into you this week? How much time have you invested into your relationship with God? Yeah. And many of us, we are lopsided. In our lives, we lopsided. What price are you willing to pay to satisfy you? This man say, whatever you ask. Come on, we ready. Whatever you ask, I'll give it to you. Whatever I got to pay for her, I'll pay it. Whatever I got to do, I'll do it just so I can have what I want. What price are you willing to pay to gratify yourself? Here's the flip side. What price are you willing to pay to achieve your goals? What price are you willing to pay to reach your purpose? Yeah. And tonight it's a Friday night, right? And I know Friday night is the night to wind down Friday, but I had to develop this. We coming up to the end of the year. It's the end of 2018, and I'm almost finished for those of you that are watching. But I want you to consider something. When we talk about controlling ourselves, we taking it a step further, not just controlling, not being reactive, but proactive. It's the end of 2018. And here's my conclusion question. What have you accomplished this year? Yeah. What have you accomplished this year? After all of the stuff that you have been doing in this November, what have you accomplished? What have you done? What goals have you reached this year? What have you done this year? When I say control yourself, your life is a product of your self-control, of your self-discipline, or your lack thereof. So with my question at the end of the year, it's right, if we November the 2nd. What have you and then I asked one of the questions that we opened up with was, what was your level of productivity this week? What were you productive at this week? And here's my question to you guys that are watching tonight. What have you accomplished? Have you been this whole year, just been chasing your feelings around? I feel sleepy today, so I'm gonna sleep extra.
Yeah.
I feel lazy today, so I'm gonna lay. What have you accomplished? And look, if you really just be real, when I started to look at it, and we had 30 minutes, I'm finna close it out. But when I started to look at my own life, I realized that I had nothing. I had nothing. I had no money. I had nowhere to live. I didn't have a car. I barely had a piece of a job. All I had was bills. I had kids, and I had irresponsibility. And that all came from doing what? Chasing how I felt. This morning I wake up, I don't feel like going. Wake up, I don't feel like going to school. Wake up, I don't feel like going to work.
Come on now.
Come on. What have you accomplished this year? What have you accomplished this year? Come on, say I got to control myself. All right, come on, let's clap it out. Clap it out. Thank y'all for tuning in this Friday night. I hope I didn't go too deep. I hope I didn't go too hard. There was a few little more things that I could have went into in the lesson. But I want to conclude with this. Ultimately, what looked good to him did not turn out good for them. All right. And next week, we'll talk about controlling yourself a little bit more. I got a little bit more, and that's going to be a real short lesson. So I hope you guys tune in. Be sure to go to our website, www.thegodmovement.com. Check out all the stuff that we're doing. I post new stuff for everybody, for you guys to go and watch. Man, follow our YouTube channel, TGM Television. All of the Maximize Your Life, the original series is all on there. I call this season 2, part 2, and we're going to stop. And then we're going to open up with another one for the new year. So I hope you guys can be a part of all the new stuff that we got coming up. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all be blessed. Come on, let's clap it out. Good. All right, any questions are there?